Hey guys, what's good? I'm Andre and today I want to go over a few interesting stock picks with you guys, potentially things that are going to be moving throughout next week here, especially as we're starting to see some of the earnings come out and some of the potential moves of the market starting to shift, with Tesla missing earnings, or at least not being as fantastic as everybody was expecting for them to be. Netflix missing earnings, missing on revenue, and the Nasdaq moving slightly down pre-market today. So let's take a look here, guys. First off, I want to start by just highlighting what we've been up to in our Patreon community throughout the last few days. Guys, we took US wheat long from roughly 645 over here, and just take a look at this absolute beauty of a move. Now, if you guys have been following me on Twitter at Trading Crew US, or if you've been part of the community on Patreon, you probably have caught this move alongside us because we've been posting about it for the longest time. We made a ridiculous 12% in just 2 days, guys, and we just took profits. I still think that this move is bound to go higher up, maybe into the $780 to $800 range, but honestly, it's not worth the extra gain to risk what we've made so far. So I, for one, took profits. You guys do what you want to do. Now let's look at some picks that I sent out earlier today on our Patreon community to our patrons. Guys, again, if you want access to these trades, please feel free to reach out. It's just $15 a month for the package. You can cancel anytime. There's no risk higher than $15 a month, and I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to see a positive ROI because of the way that we're structuring our trades and because of the quality of the trades that we're sending through. Now, if we take a look at BA here, guys, we are checking back in with this upwards trending trend line over here, and as you guys can see, this is the exact setup that I sent a bit earlier today. So we've got the entry roughly at 208.5, we've got the stop at 205.8, and then we've got the take profit range at roughly $221. Now that gives us a 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. So for instance, if we were to take 5 trades that have a 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio, all that we really need for them to render a profit for us is to make sure that one of the 5 is profitable for us, and the other 4 ones are going to be paid out by this first one. Now, what I always recommend is making sure that you always have the same risk. So for instance, if you're risking $500 on a trade, make sure that you always are consistent with that one risk, because that way, for instance, if your risk is $500, your gain is going to be 5 times that for a trade like this. So you're gonna make $2,500, and so basically if you lose the other 4 trades, you lose $2,000, you make $2,500, and you're still up $500 on your portfolio. Obviously, we are aiming for a much higher win rate than just 20%, 1 out of 5, but I'm just saying, guys, that's the type of trades that you should be looking for. Now, the next setup that I want to highlight here would be on Octa. Now, it's a very similar setup. Honestly, I wouldn't let it ride as high as what it was penciled in initially. I would probably have a similar 1 to 4.5 or 5 ratio here, with the stop roughly at 67.2, the entry roughly at 66.8, and then we can 69.4 needs to be the entry, and then the take profit can easily be $79, and if we get this move up, it's gonna be a pretty nice one. Obviously, Octa gapped up initially here and then gapped down here, so it's moving a bit erratically. There's a lot of volatility here. We don't quite know what's gonna happen, but it's worth a nibble from here, as long as, again, we always make sure not to take too much risk. The next on the list here, guys, is DVN, and for DVN we actually took exposure a lot earlier this week. We sent out this particular trade over here with a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. I still think that this one could rally quite a bit higher up and give us a much better risk reward, but what I usually tend to do is just to take partial profits early and then leave a part of the trade to run if it's still running. Now, what I recommend here to do is just to check out how beautiful we have this break above. We had a retest, so that would be 1, this would be 2, and now we are retesting that initial breakout level. If we manage to get a positive breakout throughout that level, we pretty much have clear skies up until the 55 zone here. But again, let's see how this one plays out as well. The next one I want to take a look with you guys at would be SPLK. This is Plunk. Now this is trading in a pretty cool looking triangle over here, confirmed by volume, which has been diminishing throughout the last few weeks here. And as you guys can see, we are getting rejected by the top line of this triangle again. Now honestly, I wouldn't recommend trading it to the downside from here, because the way triangles need to be played is by waiting for a break above, entering and playing the move higher. Now in this case, however, since the stop is so close, you could easily take a move down here in case we do get a retracement back into the lower end of the triangle here. So that would give you again a 1-to-5 risk reward ratio. I'm not as excited about this particular trade, but it could play out. Again, ideally we wait for a breakout of the triangle and then we play that subsequent move. Guys, I really encourage you to check us out on Patreon. Again, for just 15 bucks a month, you get a ton of trades. Feel free to jump on, subscribe to the service. If you hate it, just cancel within the initial 30 days and you're gonna be good as gold. But I think you're gonna love it. We haven't really had any cancellations at all ever since we started the service. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the video. Thank you so much for all of the likes you've been giving me throughout the last few videos. It's truly been helping me a ton. I hope you guys are going to be tuning into the next one. Give it a like if you've been enjoying the content so far, and I'm gonna catch you next time. Take care.